I am Sean Patrick from the future. And if you think things are fucked up now, just wait. We have to wear these masks not only to breathe, but also to scare off the mutant chickadees. What fuck? It's hard to breathe in this thing. Well, thank you, future Sean. We'll see you later. Well, I'm Sean Patrick from the recent past. My last post was age restricted within a minute of posting due to the hashtags I used, so I thought I should do another show for my Afghani fans. Now, as you may have noticed, I've entitled this piece Fair and Balanced. So, in that spirit, let's start with some Canadian politics. The Conservatives are yet again spending millions of dollars on a federal leadership race. They're third in as many elections. Whilst all 6 candidates are claiming that they are fighting against divisive American-style politics, we have one saying that they stand behind conspiracy theories, one saying that lockdowns, in the face of an extremely communicable, previously unseen, sometimes deadly virus, was absolutely wrong, and their most likely winner was adopted, and I'm pretty sure that if he hadn't been, his last name would be Trump. Oh yeah, and Quebec thinks that the French culture is in so much danger of being erased, they had to use the notwithstanding clause to shove through a bill that is the first step to creating French re-education camps. They say that people get 6 months to become fluent in French, but what happens if they don't? Do they get shipped to Rwanda? Surprise! Another horrific school shooting in the U.S. Now, I try not to talk about mass shootings in America because there's been dozens since Uvalde. But I did talk about one a while back, so to get the full view of how I feel about them, go try to find that episode. On top of that rant, I have to say that it's incredibly sad to see the American lawmakers falling all over themselves to keep their country a war zone, while the victims' loved ones are left trying to console themselves by saying that their children have become angels. Unfortunately, the Bible says that angels are made by God, not a distraught person with a legally obtained firearm. And just like in war, there are no angels, only ghosts. But what can you do in a country with such an attachment to random killing? Even something like inferior background checks are too much for half the politicians. And their version of background checks is looking for criminal records and official psychiatric diagnoses without creating national databases. Look, you only get a criminal record if you've been caught, and you only get psychiatric help before you hurt somebody if you can afford it. Now, I know people who are paying $180 an hour for therapy. What would it cost there? And gun registries are right out. How dare the government know where the weapons are? It's hard to understand why they still require driver's licenses and medical degrees. But in America, there are about 70 million more guns than there are people. Now, since regulation of guns is out of the question, politicians are making suggestions like turning schools into jails and arming teachers with only 24 hours training. But my favorite suggestion is that they need to get God back in schools. Yeah, we had institutions here that were chock full of God. They were called residential schools. How did that work out? Now, with that in mind, we get to tonight's point. In my last post, we discussed abortion, and I clearly came out on the side of pro-choice. But the forced birthers do have some good points, which I would like to share with you today. First of all, if America were to continue to allow abortion, they might run out of children for the ones they've been abusing for years to kill. And everyone needs a hobby. Another reason for forced birth is the economy. There are so many ways in which this would help. Orphanages and foster care would expand greatly, creating more jobs for pedos, and that is partially funded by your taxes, which I know you all want to pay more of. America loves paying taxes even more than it loves mom and apple pie, apparently. Since only about half of the states want to ban abortions, this will create a fun new thing called aborcations. Instead of saving up for years to take a trip to see California, you can risk your minimum wage job to have someone take you there to undergo a necessary medical procedure. And who knows, maybe a neighbor or family member could make some cold hard cash by suing you for choosing not to try to feed more people on minimum wage. That kind of stress is great for mass shooter, I mean family building. But wait, there's more. Now, how are you going to pay off that scenic trip to the Planned Parenthood clinic since you lost your minimum wage job? Well, you're not getting a new job at the new Nike factory in your neighborhood. You'll be too old to work there, and the underfunded orphanages will be providing more labor than they need. You'll just have to console yourself with some local partisan footwear. But the real plus to forced birthing can be found in wisdom I've been spouting for most of my life. Food. Now, even though America decided to throw a Boston formula party in an attempt to get more women to have abortions, I say we just eat the babies. That's why I don't have any children of my own anymore. If you don't eat them by the time they're 2, they get stringy, demanding, and expensive. Every baby shower gift I've given is a stock pot because most people already have the necessary roasting pans and punch bowls. And WIC could save tax dollars by no longer handing out birth cheeses, save the environment by replacing beef with babies, and cut down on both mass shootings and victims thereof simultaneously. So, when you really take the time to think about it, forced birth can save industry, the economy, the environment, and be the only step towards cutting down on gun violence acceptable to America. In every way possible, it's a no-brainer. Well, that's all for now, kids, so try not to get shot before someone gets a chance to abuse and or eat you.